South Korean Armed Forces greeted 2014 with a military exercise. They're out to prove their determination is steadfast. 3 nuclear reactors are expected to go back online as soon as this weekend, a relief for the nation's overstretched power grid. And government officials at the Sejong City administrative hub look ahead to the new year in spite of looming challenges. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Friday, January 3rd. I'm Luke Clary. The political climate on the Korean Peninsula remains tense heading into 2014, but South Korean armed forces are out to prove that they're ready for anything. The Army greeted the new year with a major exercise.
This is an Army training field located in the front line of the Mount Baekdu Range. The K-55A1 and K-9 self-propelled guns fire in unison. And the enemy targets located tens of kilometers away are covered in thick smoke. The artillery demonstration was held to get ready for not only local provocations, but also all-out combat situations. 27 tanks roar toward the provocation point, and the camouflaged troops move quickly to raid the enemy camp. The new year is bringing prospects for both improved inter-Korean relations as well as North Korea's sudden provocations. South Korea's Defense Minister Kwan-jin instructed the troops to be thoroughly prepared for North Korea's two-pronged strategy of engaging in talks and launching strikes. Together with all field units under the Army Corps, 18 high-tech self-propelled guns were deployed for this latest exercise.
적의 도발이지마저 꺾어버리는 강한 전차대대가 되겠습니다.
South Korean troops defending the front lines are geared up to safeguard their motherland against any threats.
산업무적 상승호사단!
3 nuclear reactors that were suspended over the use of substandard parts in their construction will be reinstated as early as this weekend. It's a relief for the nation's overstretched power grid in the peak winter months.
The Trade, Industry, and Energy Ministry has started to take steps to reoperate the Shinggori Reactor 1 and 2 and Shinwolseong Reactor 1. This comes 7 months following the suspension of the reactors, which were found using substandard parts that were approved under forged quality certificates. Shinggori 1 and Shinwolseong 1 will start up as early as Saturday so that they can reach their full output capacity by Tuesday. Shinggori 2 is expected to resume as of the 12th. The 3 reactors can generate as much as 3 million kilowatts of power, which is welcome news just ahead of the high-demand season expected to start next week. The Korea Power Exchange forecasts preliminary power reserves will be maintained at over 4 million kilowatts even during the peak demand period by urging large establishments to operate their own generators and through demand control measures. The scandal of forged quality certificates erupted last year, and the reactors were halted since late May until the substandard parts were replaced.
Workers at the government complex in Sejong City were greeted with a ceremony marking the first workday of the new year. However, the newly constructed administrative hub still faces a number of challenges.
Employees of the government complex Sejong are headed to their offices on the first workday of 2014. Much of the government administration is now believed to have shifted to Sejong City, and the workers are just as committed to their resolutions. The second phase of relocation has been concluded, and the government kicked off the new year at the Sejong complex in a ceremony for 10,000 employees of 31 agencies that have moved in. Prime Minister Chung Hong-won stressed that the public must feel tangible policy effects this year and cited economic revival and stable public lives as the top priorities.
모든 부처가 국정 과제를 차질 없이 추진하여 창조 경제가 뿌리내릴 수 있는 튼튼한 기반도 조성해야 합니다.
But Sejong City still leaves much to be desired in housing and amenities and struggles to attract universities, businesses, and cultural facilities.
장기적으로는 본래 목적대로 과학 기능이나 비즈니스 기능이 더 보완 발전되어야 될 것 같습니다.
Half of the government's administrative function has been transferred to Sejong City. Now it must be equipped to stand as a self-sufficient location.
A nationwide influenza alert was issued yesterday as the number of flu patients has soared. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has advised the public to pay special attention to personal hygiene and get their vaccinations.
This 4-year-old child has been hospitalized for 4 days for influenza symptoms. Last week, the number of patients suspected of influenza increased to 15.3 per 1,000 outpatients. An epidemic warning has been issued nationwide as the figure exceeded the epidemic criterion of 12.1 patients. So far, a sample of 100 flu viruses were collected from influenza patients, and 83% of them were found to be the type B strain. Compared to the type A flu, type B is more prevalent in children and tends to exhibit more digestive symptoms such as stomach aches, diarrhea, and nausea. Once started, a flu epidemic can last up to 2 months, and at its peak, the number of patients can spike up to 5 times higher than the epidemic criterion.
인플루엔자는 전신이 온몸이 두들겨 맞은 것처럼 아프고 그 열이 시작된 시점을 명확히 알 수 있을 정도로 갑자기 시작됩니다.
Flu viruses are transmitted through saliva and other bodily secretions from patients. Therefore, crowded places should be avoided and frequent hand washing is recommended. Since the elderly, young children, and pregnant women belong to the high-risk group, they are more likely to suffer from pneumonia and other complications once infected with the flu virus. Doctors are suggesting that they get vaccinated right away.
The government is clamping down on businesses operating with their doors open while the heat is on. It's part of efforts to avoid power shortages this winter.
Officials are clamping down on stores with their doors open while the heater is on. An argument ensues.
법에 위반했더니 과감하게 할 거예요.
작년에 한 번도 안 하시고 과감하게 하셔.
A thermal imaging camera measures the temperature of a store with its doors shut. It's around 6 degrees, similar to the outside. The door is now open. Red-hot air of over 20 degrees seeps out. The temperature near the heater inside the store hovers at above 30 degrees. But in contrast to the warm upper air in the store, cold air floats to the bottom section as the door is open. The lower part is 15 degrees lower than the upper. This causes rapid circulation between the warm air above and cold air beneath. The whole room is reheated only for the warmth to be let out again. This happens 20 times an hour.
전기 에너지가 3배, 최대 3배 이상 더 소비되게 됩니다. 이는 요금으로 환산해도 비슷한 결과를 가져올 수 있습니다.
Central and provincial governments will conduct the clampdowns through the end of February and will slap violators with fines of up to $2,900.
A new street address system has entered effect with the start of the new year, but ordinary Koreans are finding it difficult to get the hang of it. Even government offices and the post office are confused.
A mail sorting machine whirls ceaselessly. Starting this year, Korea has instituted a new address system with street names and numbers, but most of the mail still have old addresses using a system based on lot numbers. Post office workers have more work to do since the conversion because they have to change the addresses from the old ones to the new ones before sorting them.
주소를 쓰실 때 구주소하고 세주소하고 같이 써주시면은 저희들이 업무를 처리하는데 더 더딜 수가 있습니다.
People visiting government offices are also confused by this system. Most people don't know their street addresses even though the government forms require them, so they have to look up their new addresses.
네, 알고는 있는데 지금 새 주소를 아직 몰라서 물어보고 기재하려고 기다리고 있어요.
The new address system assigns odd numbers to the buildings on the left side of the northbound street and even numbers to those on the right. Despite a lot of preparations for the transition, only around 17% of the mailing addresses are written in the new format. Confusion is likely to continue for some time since so few people use a new address system.
Parents of school children have a strong influence on the nation's educational policies, and in a recent trend, parents are more conscious about using that influence to improve education for everyone.
Every time the government introduced new educational policies that ran counter to parents' interests, parents spared no effort to express their protest. As a result, some of the policies were withdrawn. While some lauded parents for their proactive response, critics blamed them for collectivism. But these days, the way parents view public education is changing. Parents of children at this school opened a store that sells eco-friendly snacks. All proceeds are donated in the form of scholarships or used for school welfare projects. Parents also volunteer to teach students with poor academic performances. At some schools, parents provide their help to students from other schools as well. For instance, parents who used to live overseas are volunteering to teach English to children from underprivileged families who cannot afford such tutoring.
생각했던 것보다 많은 교육적인 격차를 발견하시고 내 자식이 아니라 다른 자녀도 교육하는 것이 얼마나 지금 절실히 필요한가를 느끼시게 돼요.
한국 사회의 가장 아쉬운 보살핌과 돌봄을 좀 더 사회화할 수 있는 그런 새로운 학부모의 역할이 중요하다고 하겠습니다.
In the past, Korean parents mostly care about academic success of their own children, but these days they are playing a wider role in strengthening public education as a whole.
In entertainment, Jung Sung-hwa and Ok Joo-hyun have been chosen as the most popular musical stars of the year. And at the box office, the movie Like Father, Like Son has earned rave reviews.
The ticket booking site Interpark has selected Jung Sung-hwa and Ok Joo-hyun as the recipients of the 2013 Musical Ticket Power Award. Interpark said that the two were selected based on the results of last year's ticket sales and audience votes. Ok Joo-hyun won the Ticket Power Award in the category of musicals for the second consecutive year for her appearance in the musicals Elizabeth and Wicked. Jung Sung-hwa stunned the viewers with his acting skills in the musical Les Miserables for 10 months. The movie Like Father, Like Son drew 50,000 viewers just 14 days after its opening. It achieved the feat in the shortest period of time among the so-called diversity films, which are screened at a maximum of 40 theaters. The previous record of 18 days was set by the movies The Late Quartet and Our Sunny. The original soundtrack of the TV show Belle Amie has been released on the internet. Entitled I'm Nobody, it was written by singer Chung Jun-young. I'm Nobody expresses the feelings the show's main character, Tokomate, has for his love interest.
Tricks, illusions, magic, no longer the exclusive domain of magicians. In an enchanting trend, ordinary people are mastering magic tricks for fun. This is an event hall in Jongno, Central Seoul. A magician puts a paper bird into a book. Seconds later, a real live bird emerges. Then he stirs this blue elixir by hand until it transforms into clear, refreshing water. This is an interactive magic performance hall, where visitors can try their hand at magic.
한쪽은 끄고 한쪽은 켜고.
Visitors are spellbound by these acts and can even perform tricks themselves. These children have their shadows printed on the wall. Then it's time to draw, write, or scribble on the wall with these lights.
종이로 그리는 것보다 빛으로 그리니까 더 재밌어요.
Now the young visitors are making magic piggy banks. The coin disappears when it's put inside the box, mystifying onlookers.
이게 지금 여기 거울에 반사돼가지고 여기 넣으면 그 동전이 안 보이기 때문에 마술적인 표현이에요.
While the magic tricks entertain, learning how they work is a great educational experience.
지금 선생님이 했던 마술은요, 바로 삼투어 원리를 이용한 마술이었어요. 이 컵 안에 마법의 가루가 있었습니다. 자기 몸에 몇 배나 되는 물을 가둬둘 수 있어요.
It's a fun way to learn some basic scientific principles, spiced up with the pageantry of magic. And the whole experience gets mom's approval as well.
또 집중해서 막 만져보고 체험을 하니까 머리에도 좋고 두뇌에도 좋고 또 소근육 발달에도 많이 도움될 것 같아요. 손을 많이 움직이면 소근육이 좋다고 그러잖아요. 그래서 이래저래 많이 좋을 것 같아요.
Now that magic performances are going mainstream, more people want to learn the secrets behind their favorite routines. At this magic school in Seoul, a professional magician demonstrates a trick.
둘, 셋 하면은 지폐가 원상대로 복원이 되게 되는.
The students eagerly follow the instructions.
하나, 둘, 셋.
It looks so much easier when the magician does it. These students are here to learn simple magic tricks using simple props like cards and coins. They have their own reasons for practicing magic.
금년도에 이제 정년 퇴임을 했습니다. 그래서 이제 취미 활동도 하고 봉사를 할 기회를 갖기 위해서 다른 사람들이 하지 않는 것을 좀 색다른 거를 고르다 보니까 마술을 선택하게 됐습니다.
Although their hands may not be as deft as those of a real magician, these magic fans are having a great time performing the tricks themselves.
친구들과의 술자리에서 그 분위기를 띄우기 위해서, 그리고 좀 내가 소심한 친구들 같은 경우는 이 마술을 배워주고 그 다음에 나를 표현함으로써 좀 자신감이 향상하게 되는 이러한 것들이 모두 마술의 장점인 거죠. 신비한 마술의 세계로 오세요!
Watching magic unfold and learning a few new tricks has invigorated the lives of many ordinary people. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.